The only Borg so deadly. They gave him a goddamn name.
All right.
With time running out, Picard, Riker, and the crew must confront the sins of their past and heal fresh wounds while the Titan drifts helplessly towards certain destruction within a mysterious space anomaly. Hello, entertainment enthusiasts. This is Ray, and this is the Fandom Realm, and today I'm reviewing episode number 4 of season 3 of Picard. As always, spoilers abound, so just be warned. All right, I've got to say, the last episode was very good, and we left off with the crew of the Titan adrift in space. We learned that Vadic wants Jack Crusher for some reason, and Captain Riker, dismissed Picard from the bridge in a stunning event. So what's next? Let's take a look. And this is another excellent episode of Picard, so I can't wait to go through it. So 5 years ago, another flashback. I love flashbacks.
Admiral Picard. Sir,
You are never, ever without hope.
So they're sort of letting the flashback stand for what's going on with the ship right now. So we're back to present day. Picard is looking at what's going on.
Critical damage during the attack.
Massive loss of power. We're down to 9%, and the more system...
We're basically finding out what all is wrong with the ship at this point.
Eliminate all non-essential functions. Have the crew gather in common areas.
So they're going to try to conserve power. You know, I'm surprised they didn't look into those flashes earlier.
Admiral, I thought that
I have an apology to make.
I'm saying this to you as a courtesy.
out of line.
Stop.
So maybe they're going to get back together here, sort of talk things out.
The Titan's dead in the water. We estimate about 4 hours until the ship is crushed.
And when has that ever stopped you before?
And you and I have traveled to the far reaches of space.
So we're getting down to the core of what's going on with
If
Riker.
there is anything after. And
He's wondering about the future and his dead
you
son.
couldn't live with me feeling nothing. And neither could I.
So the problems with Troy.
This is the end, my friend.
Again, why do they choose this time to have them be all like sad that something might end?
The next few hours to get to know your son.
I mean, again, going back on that, every time they've ever been together and been in a tough situation, they sort of maintain the spirit and go fight. But this time, Riker's like, oh, let's just die. I think that's why some people have said he's out of character. So 7 of 9, hunting the changeling.
To come and get us, she would have done it already. Now, I'm not saying do nothing.
And so trying to figure out what to do with Riker here.
Remaining in an unofficial capacity could work to our advantage.
So she's going to sneak around and ask questions and try to figure out who the changeling is. Again, gotta love 7 of 9.
3, 2, 1.
Now, Beverly knows something's going on. Why isn't she telling anybody?
Before you say anything, I can see what's going on.
Okay, Picard sort of gives Beverly the hey.
You could give me a moment or two with Jack.
Beverly was sort of getting the info visually there from Picard that basically the end is near and he wants to talk to his son.
Hanson, bang-up job your heroes are doing with my ship.
Oh, Shaw.
We have a problem. There's a changeling on board. That's what kept us from warping.
You know, it shows 7 of 9's character here that although they're in an issue and they have issues, she's willing to go to him.
For Deanna Troy.
You know, that's really sad. He didn't send the message to her it was, you're just like, come on, talk. So, a copy of 10 forward.
But I don't suppose you've ever...
No.
I'm not exactly sure what that was supposed to be right there, to be honest.
Whiskey?
Preferably cheap and on the rocks.
Of course, he's not going to be a wine person like Jean-Luc.
Do you want to select a different simulation?
No. This fake place is as good as any to die in, I suppose.
Why are they all resigned?
I think we need to talk about the elephant in the room. The hair. When did it go?
Okay, I'll be honest. That is a little bit funny. I was not expecting that.
23, 24. Enjoy it while you can.
Well, yeah, absolutely, of course, for the next 2 hours.
You might tell me the reason you decided not to know me.
Oh, that is such a big question right there. And having watched the show, of course, I know at the end that's going to come back to haunt Picard. And I like this get-together between them, though.
You could tell, ask him a question that they should know the answer to. Simple question, wrong answer.
Of course, back to Shaw and Seven.
Which is something I totally would say.
If you were a changeling and not just...
And he's got good information.
Huh.
Bait them. Steal their pot.
Good idea.
And so they have to rest in a pot, a vase.
You know, I just watched the Dominion War afterwards.
Get a sample of that. You upload it to the computer. You have the ship scan for that son of a bitch.
So some of these things they're talking about with the changelings and everything, I'm not as familiar with because I probably just saw all that like one time.
2, 1.
Here again, Beverly knows there's something going on. So Seven's going to search for that pot. And voila, she finds it hidden. What was that, like the air system up there? So that's going to be something that's important here. So back on board the Shrike. This is all a weird scene, and not because she just cut her hand off.
The starship fairing Jack Crusher couldn't escape the center of the gravity well.
And I'll talk more about that in just a second.
The device utilizes gravimetric distortion.
Now, who is that person supposed to be? That's the cool effect. I've got to give him that.
Goodbye! Goodbye!
So they're going to get rid of that device. And whoop, there it goes. And they go look for the Titan. I say that's interesting because she changes completely from arrogant and confident to like subservient.
Open up our will to communicate. We will both have been killed.
All right, back to 5 years before.
With you and your friend, Jack Crusher, mishap on a shuttle?
And I think we've probably heard this in the Next Generation.
Even a little reckless.
I seem to remember it being told in another way.
Oh, no. Please, come in.
Come on.
But I might be wrong about that.
Look, I get that you might think that I need this. That this might...
So Jack's not really understanding what's going on here.
I think maybe I do.
Of course, Jack starts out thinking that it's for him, but it's actually something Picard needs to understand. Of course, he asked him earlier why he never reconnected with him. And you noticed Jack actually never got to answer the question.
Hanson to biochemistry lab. I have a substance I need scanned immediately.
Biochemistry lab has been shut down to conserve...
Of course it has. Okay, so we found the changeling. Go 7.
And things are about to get a lot worse.
So, of course, like I said, Beverly knows what's going on here, and so she's going to come in a few minutes.
Other than this, what's the worst jam you've ever been in?
Interesting question.
Young women.
Oh, were they delightful?
Delightful and enthusiastic.
Right.
And, of course, it's going to be similar to this situation, too.
Let's briefly to...
Get laid.
Hey, we had an invitation.
Hey, I love they're talking about things like this.
Hit the shuttle at high speed, it wrecked us. Instantly we were blind, powerless, and life support. And we inched our way home.
And basically showing that everybody has a little recklessness in them.
Until finally we were home.
That's a nice story, but that's going to happen again.
What a harrowing tale of survival.
And where the hell did Shaw come from? He just sort of snuck in there, it seemed like.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt family time. Maybe a little out of sort.
Didn't like Shaw for a while.
Did your old man ever tell you about the time that he and I first met?
You had to get an idea of where this is probably going.
Oh, come on. You must have heard about the Battle of Wolf 359.
Wolf 359. Huh.
50 of us made it down to the life deck.
I bet Picard is tired of hearing about that.
Life pod. 10 seats.
Wow, 50 to 10.
Some lieutenant comes down and she just starts pointing.
This is very interesting to his psychology.
She's pointing at me.
He was chosen.
Do you know where your old man was?
He was chosen to be safe, so that has affected him all these years.
He was on that Borg cube, setting the world on fire!
All right, very big thing there. Of course, when Vodic first put down Shaw when they met, talking about his psychology, it's all because of Wolf 359 and what he's talking about right now. Okay, I'm just going to tell you, I missed a clip in there somehow. I don't know where it went.
At some point, asshole became a substitute for Char.
But it was talking about Locutus of Borg. It's the first clip on the show. I'm going to go back and put it in the right place, but I can't while I'm recording right now. And so that was very important to let us know what was going on with Shaw.
Look, what happened back there? You don't need to explain yourself to me.
So Jack's defending him now.
Jean-Luc, there's a pattern. It's building and building, and it's going to crescendo.
Okay, so enough of this resigned to death crap. It's time to do something.
It's a countdown, which led me to track them just like contractions.
Thank you, Beverly. Somebody doing something to save everybody's asses.
Smaller waves, once it hits for us, it will be over quickly.
But that doesn't sound too awful good.
Maybe we could plug into them. Get a little extra juice and then...
We could.
Yes, Jack Crusher to the rescue. We knew he was there for a reason.
This cannot work.
And, of course, then Riker says no.
Roll over us, they will absorb us.
We match the speed with the wave. Use the energy...
But I love this whole conversation they have here.
We hightail it out the nebula, away from the gravity well, away from that ship out there, and away...
This sort of reminds me a lot of The Next Generation.
That's out there. We barely have enough sensors to make it through that. If one of those hits us, we've lost the wave.
But I don't ever remember Riker being so negative.
I know that story too, kid. This is not a two-man shot.
Okay.
I would say it's about trust.
Oh, bringing up Deanna. But she's right.
So let's do what we spent our entire lives learning to be great at.
Like I've said, y'all have done stuff like this before.
We've been here before, Will.
Honestly, this almost made me cry.
If this is the end, let's face it together.
I even get a little teary-eyed right now.
The nacelle covers are designed to prevent the plasma conduit.
Okay, so maybe we're up to live.
Manually open them. We might be able to channel the energy from the wave right down to the warp core.
Sounds like a good plan to me. I don't know much about warp cores.
And let's get the hell out of here.
Oh, love that. Sounds good to me. This has been a long time coming.
Acting Captain William Riker. We have a plan to escape.
I also just love his little speech here.
These energy waves to jumpstart us. I'm not going to lie, it's a hell of a risk. I'm only as effective as you are.
And I love the way Nash is hearing this.
Hang tight and work together. We're going to get through this.
Nash has to know he can never be that captain.
Captain Shaw, I realize that I'm the last person
Okay, I bet he was not happy.
from Chicago.
All right, some brevity to sort of break the tension.
None of these kids know how to hotwire it, so.
We need an old grease monkey.
So, of course, Nash is going to be helpful here.
I'm thinking.
As much as I hate to admit it. Commander Hansen to...
And so they've hatched a plan.
Warning, light deck is offline.
All right, things are starting to heat up.
2 minutes till the final wave.
Captain, you've got 2 minutes.
All right, here we go. Is this plan going to work?
Keep transferring to thrusters. We must be at full power if we're to catch this wave.
I like the way they're just working back and forth here, too.
Yeah, why?
Uh-oh, there's 7.
I was sent to help, Commander. I specifically told Captain Riker not to send anyone.
Oh, that stupid changeling.
Commander what, Forge? Commander Hansen.
Okay, you knew when she visited her earlier.
The Forge always calls me Commander 7. Out of respect.
When she visited her earlier and called her Commander 7, you knew that was going to come back.
Open for business.
All right, we're part of the way there.
Sensors are down.
Jack, call out their positions.
And, of course, we're going to bring Jack back into this.
And now.
So Picard is manually navigating, sort of.
4 more seconds. Trust me.
I don't really understand why he wanted 4 more seconds there.
From life support.
So they're readying themselves for the blast. Let's see if it works.
7,
Well, Beverly,
6,
it's all on you now.
5, 4.
Everybody's got to hope she was right. That's a cool effect shot, though, I think, showing them riding that wave.
Got it! Stay inside!
Especially when compared to something that would have been shot earlier.
Okay, lock onto those coordinates.
Like in Star Trek VI, when Sulu
Cut the beam.
was riding the wave from the blast from Kronos.
Will, did you just throw an asteroid?
Goddamn right I did.
Okay, that is the best line in this episode, I think. I love that. So Shaw comes to the bridge and realizes that Riker has saved his ass. So Riker here is getting what he really needed. Something's out there. While watching the apparent birth of these new beings.
To seek out new life.
And don't they look sort of like the ones from Farpoint Station?
I think we should boldly get the hell out of here. Hanson LaForge?
Okay, second best line along with Beverly there. All right.
Ever really as good as those around you.
So important stuff coming up here. In a second, I love the plan worked. I love Riker through an asteroid and temporarily, I guess, defeated Vodic's ship.
your life in Starfleet.
Oh no, he did come and try to find Jean-Luc.
About a real family.
And now Jean-Luc's remembering.
Starfleet has been the only family I have ever needed.
Oh, you didn't just say that. And you felt good about it too.
You can't hide from the pain by being alone.
And now you realize, oh crap, what the hell did I do? I'll just be honest. I had a few tears at that. That was very sad. Him realizing that
I thought
was crazy.
being away was going to be the answer to all of our problems.
Riker having some healing going on now.
I'm just glad that everyone's okay. That you're okay.
I love Troy. I wish she would have been in this more.
You haven't said anything as lovely as that in a very long time.
Of course, we may see more of her.
That's on me. And I'm sorry.
We're only 4 episodes through, so we should see several more people.
Are you and Jean-Luc in trouble?
I don't know yet.
Great question. Love the old Star Trek music coming in there.
We have managed to escape death at the hands of our unknown enemy, although we're...
And of course, we're doing a captain's log here, which I guess Admiral's log technically.
Exactly does she want with my son?
So Jack washing his face. So what's going on there? Is he hallucinating, hearing things in his head? Did something go on? Are they looking for someone? I don't really understand what's going on right there. So we'll have to see. And then there at the end, we get to hear somebody asking him to find him. Okay, so big things happening there, and so I just have a couple real quick thoughts and reactions. Yes, I know I say that every time, and I'll probably say that every time. I like to talk about things. But the big thing here is just this, the way they frame this entire story around going back to a conversation Jean-Luc had with a group of cadets, comparing that to the situation and the stories that were told, and then at the end finding out that actually Jack was at that bar where those cadets were and asked Jean-Luc about family, and he gave that answer about Starfleet was all the family he needed. Oh, that had to be so heartbreaking to Jack. And of course, Jean-Luc was all happy and proud about his answer at the time. And then at the end, he is just, when he figures out that Jack was there after they've been all through all this, he realizes now, hey, he did try. And it was Jean-Luc that messed up. It wasn't Jack. And so that may turn the entire series around a little bit. We'll see what happens with that. And also, I was wondering when Jean-Luc asked Jack about it and they never got to it, he sort of turned the question around. He never answered it. And I was wondering what all that was about, but of course, we were getting ready to see what was happening in the story. Second thing is just, it's about time they started being a crew and the next generation, okay? They brought them on here. In the next generation, they were all, if they had something bad going on, they would buckle down and figure out a way out. But it just seemed like, for whatever reasons, they weren't doing that here. And I know a few people have said, Riker was out of character, Picard is out of character, and they did seem to be a little bit, but that's the way it was, of course, written, because Riker has had a lot going on the last 20 years. He's lost a son. He's not in command of a ship right now. He's got issues at home. He is trying to save this ship, and sort of Picard is on the other side as he sort of caused this and the hostility. So yeah, there was some trouble there, but eventually, of course, they seem to have worked through that now. We found out what was wrong with Riker. That is being healed, and hopefully that is something that we're not really going to see in the last part of the season, and now we can get to doing what we need. And I also, of course, liked sort of the development of Jack and Picard's relationship through this, even though what I said earlier, and I meant to put this in there earlier too, while Picard was sort of being attacked by Shaw, Jack is sort of going to defend him. So you know he sort of wants that relationship with Picard. We'll have to see how that goes. Last little thing here, I guess, and that is Shaw. I'm going to be honest with you. When this thing started, I absolutely could not stand him, mostly because of his attitude towards 7 of 9, his attitude towards Riker and Picard coming on board. But as always, we get some clarity about where he's coming from. You know, the whole idea of walking a day in somebody else's shoes. Well, we get to see it. You know, he was in the Battle of Wolf 359. They're never going to let Picard live that down. And so basically you had a situation, he survived. He's angry at Picard. He's angry at the Borg. You know, when Vadic talked about his psychological profile, all of that goes back to what happened at Wolf 359. And I don't think he's ever been able to work through that, sort of like Riker, what hadn't been working through things recently. And so the captain, Nash, is hopefully going to be a bigger, better captain after this whole experience, especially with Riker being there and Picard, and he sort of sees that, you know, he called them heroes. They're not really heroes, but they, well, I guess they are actually heroes, and there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, everybody, that's all I'm going to say. I am going to give this a rating of an A. It was an extremely good episode, and Picard just keeps hitting bombs out of the ballpark, and so hopefully it continues the rest of the season. With that, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoy the review. Please subscribe to the channel, crush that like button, and comment below, and I'll see you next time on the Fandom Realm.